Sail away on a ball and chain and keep us from the roaring waves. Get her undivided, but forever we'll be free. So sail away aboard a rig, the moon is full and so are we. 7 drunken pirates, we're the 7 deadly sins, Sonic gears on fire and settled died and left us someone reeling. Johnny Storm was standing on left passenger ceiling. What became of rebels, set for you and me? Grappling with their demons in the search for liberty. Oh, sufferers who suffer all can swim upon the desert. Avarice has ravaged all in spite of good intention. Begging out with gluttony for pride, oh journey swell. But nothing's unforgiven in the four corners of hell. So sail away on a ball and chain, keep us from the roaring waves. Get her on the bite, but forever we'll be free. Sail away aboard a rig, the moon is full and so are we. 7 drunken pirates with the 7 deadly sins. 7 drunken pirates with the 7 deadly sins.
Episode 7? It's one of those episodes.
Yo, it's Beers, episode 7.
Beers, episode 7.
Bang, boom, bang, kaboom!
Shabbity babbity bobbity bow 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 bow.
Bang, bang! And we are back this week for Beers in the Air, episode 7.
Episode
the St.
7.
Patty's Day special!
Oh! That was a nice little harmonization.
Yes, yes.
And the Guinness is already flowing. The Guinness
is already flowing. We have 3 types of Guinness that we are drinking today.
Fuck, we do.
3 types of Guinness that we're going to drink today. We're also going to be drinking some Jameson and some Baileys.
Which I'm kind of scared
for my very first Irish car bomb.
Minus the shot glass.
Minus the shot glass. Unfortunately, I'm in the middle of a move, and in transition to houses, I apparently have lost every single shot glass I've ever owned.
But you should tell the people what we were going to use.
We were going to use filthy medicine shot glasses.
Could have worked.
I mean, we probably would have felt better if we were sick. I don't know. It just did not look like something I wanted to take a shot out of. So
yeah.
we're gonna
wing it.
We're gonna eyeball a shot in of Bailey's and Jameson, and then pour our Guinness in and take a car bomb like that. Unfortunately, It's not a real life one, but
it's not the real deal, but it's close enough to the real deal.
Yeah,
I'd say
it's like taking a Jaeger bomb with like the Jaeger and Monster just mixed together. It's like
yeah.
I don't even know if that would taste the same.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. All I know is we're drinking 3 different kinds of Guinness. We're drinking the Guinness regular, straight up. You know more about the Guinness than I do.
So I'm always confused because based off of the spelling, I would say it's Guinness Drought, but that doesn't make any sense to me. So I imagine it's the Guinness Draft Stout. I mean, it's spelt D-R-A-U-G-H-T, but it's just the old school one. They used to have the widget inside of them, actually. In the canned pints, it was a little ball, and then in the bottles, it was a rocket widget. And what it did was it released like a burst of nitrogen every time you popped open the bottle, every time you cracked open the can. But for some reason, they don't have the widgets in there anymore, which is kind of weird.
Yeah, were those little like kind of like glass things at the bottom, or it was something at the bottom?
No, it was like plastic. They're like little plastic things, and as soon as you popped it, like it released nitrogen somehow.
But like if you shook it around, could you?
Yeah,
you could, feel it move
hear
around,
it. Yeah,
right? Yeah,
exactly. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they don't have those anymore, which is
that's strange. That's I feel like that's like the character of it.
Yeah,
that's part of it.
Maybe they found some sort of way to kind of incorporate it in there and get the same sort of effect without having the widget. But
they do have these like new like the way they design the bottoms.
Yeah.
To where like it'll have like the carbonation constantly flowing upward and stuff. They have glasses like that too, actually. So maybe modern day technology wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Wouldn't surprise me a bit. But we are doing a St. Patty's Day special here. 4 Beers in the Air episode.
It's got a very
7.
Irish feel to it.
It's very Irish. Not only are we drinking Irish beer, Irish whiskey, and is Bailey's Irish?
Yeah.
Bailey's
it's Irish cream.
Irish cream.
The original Irish cream. It's a product of Ireland, as a matter of fact. Is it? Yeah, I don't know. I was gonna see if it was actually bottled in Ireland, but imported by Paddington, Norwalk, Connecticut. All right, so that should be interesting.
Maybe it's just an Irish recipe then or something.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, just nothing but Irish.
Either way, all of that stuff is going down our guzzlers.
Every last bit of it. I mean, probably not the
not the Jameson.
Not the whole thing, but some of it. Some of it, needless to say.
A fair amount. We also the Guinness we're gonna call it draft. Maybe that's
let's say draft.
Maybe that's just like the way
just an Irish thing.
You know,
maybe.
in the UK, that's what they do. What you brought over, the 200th anniversary export.
Yeah, we cracked open a few of those. It's interesting. It's definitely it's different than the draft. I've noticed so far. It's got a higher alcohol percentage too, actually. But yeah, I mean, I was just stoked that there was a 200th anniversary. Like, gotta fuck with the 200th anniversary.
200th anniversary though, like.
But it's crazy.
It's a lot of years.
Yeah, well, they've been around since 1759, so it's been more than 200 years.
Oh yeah, they were drinking that well before our country was established.
Yeah, exactly.
Hell yeah. Hell
so what else are we doing today? What else are we going to be doing today?
We're also going to be drinking the extra stout that I grabbed.
Yep.
So that's a third Guinness. A lot of drinking today. Very Irish drink vibes going on.
Hopefully eat some corned beef and cabbage.
St. Patty's Day. Oh, man. We're actually having not St. Patty's Day, but corned beef and cabbage on Easter weekend.
Ooh,
so
boy.
We will be having that in this household, just not tonight, but we will be doing one more Irish thing on this show.
What is it?
And that is reviewing, drum roll please, Flogging Molly's Within a Mile of Home.
Stoked about this.
Great album, great band. Can't wait to break it down. I love breaking down music with you in the first place, but you actually just maybe like about a month ago were like, hey, we should do a St. Patty's show and review this band Flogging Molly. They're an Irish punk band. I was like, all right, I have no fucking clue who that is. He shows them to me. Hooked on the album. All I listened to was Within a Mile of Home. I was already hooked. And then we were talking to our buddy OG Smiley, and he's like, oh, you think that album's good? Listen to Drunken Lullabies. Listen to Drunken Lullabies. Hooked on that one.
Well, it's funny because you know, the first album that I really got into from them was Drunken Lullabies, because you know I got into them when I was like in junior high or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then
I believe Drunken Lullabies was actually on Tony Hawk, like that song.
Oh, I think so for sure. Like Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1.
I don't know one,
which
but
one
maybe
was it? I feel like it was
4 or 3. 3. I don't know. I'll continue and I'll fact check it out right now.
So, Drunken Lullabies, first album that I got into by Flogging Molly, and I just absolutely fell in love with it. Super good. And then Within a Mile of Home came out when I was maybe like a freshman or a sophomore or something. And then again with that one, I just got absolutely 100% hooked. But it's funny because I think their first album was actually an album called Swagger, which actually no, it wasn't. But Swagger itself, it might have been their first album. I don't know. Who knows? I haven't done enough research into it, but I just know they're a good band.
Yeah.
But Swagger, I've been listening to mostly today after the concert yesterday, which we'll talk about. We'll talk about that at some point. But Swagger is like I feel like it's like the roots of Flogging Molly. It's a good one for sure.
Dude, they're great. I mean, they've got a real like real dope punk vibe, as well as like the Irish instruments meshed with the style of music, like the bagpipes on almost every song. Like, dude, the bagpipes just sound so good. Like, I don't know, like if you dig them or not, but like
I always dig the
like
bagpipes.
all
I
the
really like
bagpipes
the accordion. The accordion, they throw the accordion.
So, yeah, that's
in
probably
a lot
what
of
I'm hearing
stuff.
a lot too.
Yeah,
I just assume it was like bagpipe. But
yeah. I don't know how often they use the bagpipes. I know for a fact they do the accordion a lot, which kind of has not like, you know, an exact replica of the sound of bagpipes, but it's still kind of got like the vibe to it and shit. But yeah, they're cool. And I was actually talking to some dude at the concert last night, and he was like, "It's funny, man. You know, we get together to watch this band, and everyone's just partying and having a good time." And then, dude, listen to the lyrics. Like, it's some fucked up shit. Like, it's really...
Yeah, they've got a lot of downers. Like,
yeah.
A couple of them, yeah.
Well, even some of their most popular songs are, like, you actually listen to the lyrics and it's like, whoa. Damn. Okay. All right. Good-ass group, though. If you guys haven't ever heard Flogging Molly, pause this right now. I think we mentioned this in episode 1. Stop what you're doing and go listen to Flogging Molly, and then come back and listen to the rest of this, because you'll get a whole new.
You'll have a whole new appreciation for what we're talking about, and as well as like it's always hard to like listen to something and really grasp what people are going over if you don't really know. So if you don't know, just take a quick break. Just play like you probably already heard a clip or something before we started here, but I mean that's the band. So I mean, if you enjoyed that a little bit, go fucking listen to Within a Mile of Home. That way you can follow it along. You know, let us know what your favorite song is when we're breaking it down and going over the album. So I did fact check.
Okay.
It was Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4. Drunken
nice.
Lullabies.
Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4 was cool. I feel like that's when the whole Tony Hawk franchise took a turn in a different direction, because 1, 2, and 3, it was always you had the 2 minutes to knock out as many goals and objectives as you possibly could. Personally, 3 was my all-time favorite. I'll take 3.
I
3
like
and
3.
Underground. 3 and Underground 1.
Underground 1 was the best. Underground 1, you can like. I was so stoked to play that game because the game opens up. Chad Muska rolls up in his Escalade with like spinners on it, and you just broke your deck, and then Chad Muska's like, "Here you go, kid." Just chucks you his fucking pro deck.
Was that the one?
Oh yes.
Was that the one? Was it? It wasn't. Was it Stacy Peralta? No. Was it Stacy Peralta who was in Underground 1?
I can't remember entirely. He
like
might have been.
I feel like it was Stacy Peralta, because Stacy Peralta was like the Lords of Dogtown dude, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that was Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4. That was when it took a turn in like a different direction. Like, you didn't have it necessarily timed. You were just on the course, and you got to like go around and kind of pick out
for your own
objectives you want. Yeah, dude. But Underground 1, I mean, for a skating game and for the story being like as good as it was, it was
the first time Tony Hawk like had a storyline.
Yeah,
it was cool.
Yeah, and it was so good. And you could like get off your board and run and jump on houses and climb up, and
I think that's where they added like skitching, like grabbing onto like a car.
Like. Every time I think of skitching, I think of Back to the Future. Because they always did that in Back to the Future 1, I think. He's like riding on the back of the truck.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we got off topic a little bit, but how can you not talk about Tony Hawk Pro Skater when you bring it up? You can't just like let that slide. But yeah,
I could keep talking.
Drunken Lullabies by Flogging Molly. If you're a big Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4 fan, you probably heard that a lot, because I mean there weren't a ton of tracks on those games, and they were usually good.
Right.
Played through a lot.
Yeah, the soundtrack themselves were really good, but you'll definitely remember if you heard Drunken Lullabies, because it's got such a unique sound, and just, I mean, Flogging Molly in general, they have such a unique sound, even compared with, I don't know really any other Irish band. Like, I mean, I guess Dropkick Murphys you can kind of consider. I think they're technically like Irish punk, I imagine. But like as far as just Irish music goes, I don't know any other bands. But totally fucking forgot where I was going with that. Anyways,
It's already starting. And we're like, what, 2 beers deep?
I had a point to that whole conversation, but yeah, we'll just move on. Transition.
Either way, transitioning. This has been the intro. Today we're going to have lots of Guinness drinking, Jameson, Baileys, and Irish fucking punk music by Flogging Molly. Of course we're going to have Pure Fuckery, and as well as Pure Fuckery, right before Pure Fuckery, we are going to have Ziggy B's Top 5 Redemption.
I think we gotta have Gibbies too.
Yeah, well,
Not redemption.
I'll throw mine because I was a bit regretful in mine because just when you're on the spot, you kind of say things that like you really don't know because you feel like you have to get an answer out.
Yeah.
Like after sitting and thinking about it for a couple of weeks, mine's definitely changed.
Right, and that's the thing I've noticed since doing this show is that a lot of times people will come on the show and they'll have their top 5. they'll have their top 5 already kind of planned out before they go in, and I honestly think just about everybody's had this happen to them. They have their top 5 planned out.
It seems like everyone we talk to afterwards are like, man,
they're like, that was not what I
that was
planned.
not my top 5.
Yeah. And I'm gonna say right now, I know for a fact, we had this conversation the other day. I know for a fact there's going to be one person on my top 5 that is going to be challenged by a lot of people. I know for a fact. Can't wait to hear it.
Can't wait to challenge him.
But hey,
as we say every time, though, if you're listening, drop a comment below with your top 5, or tell me what Ziggy Braun or Gibbs how shitty our taste of music is.
Tell me how shitty my top 5 is.
No, I like talking shit, so you start talking shit in those comments, I'm gonna be popping off back. So.
Tell me how terrible it is. Though.
Tell them how terrible.
I don't care. Tell me how terrible it is, man. It's so terrible.
All right, this has been our intro.
Must it take a life for hateful lies to listen once again?
right, welcome back, everybody. We're going to get straight into the Flogging Molly album review within a mile of home. As I'm speaking right now, Ziggy Braun is pouring up our Irish car bomb shots.
Our makeshift Irish car bomb shots.
Makeshift, yeah. We're not dropping shot glasses in there, but it's got all the ingredients, and it's going to be my first one. And I've heard great things about this drink, and I can't wait to see what the fuck is gonna happen.
When I bought the Baileys it was the liquor store like right on it was on Village, like right across the street from that auto body shop, like near the apartments.
Yeah,
over there.
Okay.
Like like a street before Sueño. You lived on, was it Sueño that you lived on?
Oh, yeah. That's where you found the Baileys?
Yeah.
That's where I got the Jameson. I looked for the Baileys bottle.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they had it, yeah.
Oh, I guess. But maybe I was looking for a different color bottle or something.
So,
I just missed it.
I was asking the dude, you know, because first I went to the spot by VV Gas Mart, and all they had was Kahlua, and I was like, you know, if worse comes to worse, it's not going to be great by any means, and we're going to have to throw in a little bit, you know, little dash of Mexico in on our St. Patty's Day.
Right.
But, you know, we'll make it work. So I bought the Kahlua, and then I was like, you know, it's on the way to Gibbs' house. I'm just going to stop and see what I can do. So I went there. They had the Baileys, and the dude gets it. And he's just the entire time he's ringing me up. He's just, let me put the cap on so I could actually show you. Like,
wait, did you buy any Guinness from there too?
No, okay. I bought the Guinness from Rite Aid.
Okay, because when I went in there and I bought my 6-pack of Guinness from him. He was like looking at it, checking it out, like he's never seen Guinness before. Like he was like, oh, like what's this? Like I feel like if another like white guy went in there and just bought a pack of Guinness, he'd be like, dude, what's going on? He's like, I never see people buy this. And like that's the vibe I got when he was like looking at my beer. He's like, oh, like he was like scoping it out.
Dude, there was one time I went to a liquor store and I bought something, and the person was ringing me up. And he was like, I didn't even know we had this. I got to check what the price is. I didn't even know this existed in our shop.
Nice.
But anyway, so I've got the Baileys, and he pulls it off the shelf, and the entire time I'm like using my debit card to pay for it. He's just like.
Just shaking it.
He's like, you got to make sure it's really shooken up. And then he's like throwing it and like flipping it and doing all this crazy shit.
What?
And then I show him my ID, and he's like, 90. Look good, man. You look good.
He didn't even check my ID.
Yeah.
Did he ask for yours, or you just?
No, I just pulled it out. Just had to have it.
Right.
But yeah. Anyway, dude,
90. You look good, man.
I keep losing track as to where we're going with this shit. What were we talking about?
You were just talking about what he was doing with the Baileys.
Yeah, but we're just getting Irish car bombs ready. That's what led up to this whole conversation. So I don't know if this is going to be like the exact quantity that they typically do, but we'll make it work. Oh, it's curdling already. It's curdling. No, trust me, dude. It's delicious.
All right, if you've never seen what this looks like,
oh god, that looks
right
so
now
fucking
it starts
gross.
off when he pours it. It looks like either like some really like some coffee with a lot of creamer in it,
or float. It kinda
or
looks like a root beer float.
Yeah, a root beer float, or like or some chocolate milk. But it definitely now looks like the milk went bad.
I don't know.
So typically, do you try to chug these, or
you one swig? You don't sip
one
it.
swig? That's a hell.
Well, I mean,
swig.
not one.
Chug. That's a glug. That's a gulper.
Not one swig. My bad. Yeah, just straight up chug.
Slam it back.
Slam
huh?
it. Yeah.
Woo!
So it literally looks like a root beer float, and I'm.
All right.
So we gotta cheer it up.
Here, this is
gonna be my only one for the day.
This is my first Irish car bomb.
It looks so gross.
Ziggy Zaggy, oi oi oi.
I can't do that last little like foam part. That's not bad though, right?
You know, it's really not bad, but holy shit, that fucking curdled up
That's
Bailey's really
because
got in the way.
when you that's when you do the actual shot glass dropped in there. Sorry, I gotta.
Well, you probably drop it and then slam it. So.
Yeah. So it doesn't have time to curdle.
Yeah.
So we had to make do with what we got, but
Hey, but
it's not bad though,
I tried
right?
it. I would definitely like that experience of dropping it, but
Yeah.
it tastes good, and it does.
Yeah.
It doesn't. I did not expect it to taste like that.
Yeah. It literally
Taste
tastes
the Bailey's a lot more you think you would.
Yeah, and I think that's what's cool about it is the Bailey's kind of knocks out the flavor of Jameson.
It killed that Jameson, but whew, I feel like I got a little rush already. Like, hey,
Yeah, Hey, this is the first too.
hey, yes, my.
We've
first.
never had but we've never had anything but beer on the show.
Oh, beers and liquor in the air, baby.
Beers and
Irish
liquor in the
car
air.
bombs in the
Special 7th episode
Yeah,
kind of switch up, you know?
we just use the show as an excuse to be drunks, pretty much.
Like, hey, you know what a good idea is? Let's start a show where we drink beer.
It's like we feel
So
bad
it's
about
like-
how much we drink, but what if we just made a podcast about reviewing beer?
and then
so,
it's more socially acceptable.
like, yeah, these guys are getting drunk every weekend, drinking like different kinds of beers and shit. But
We've
like
had-
no
we've had quite
one
the,
like no one stops and asks the question like, are you guys all right? Like,
Oh, we're good.
yeah,
We're definitely good.
we're good.
One thing I could promise you is that we are good. So what?
You only drink when you're lonely. No, I
I
drink when I want.
You said you'll never be sober. I
Well-
never know what he says during that next part.
He says it sounds like he says like, shoot, why would I want that or something like that.
No, I only drink to be merry, but unfortunately, I'm in the wrong prison cell in the wrong company.
That's Flogging Molly. That's a little acapella.
I think we have to throw it on after this. Actually,
Yeah, I'll play it right now.
For some reason, I think this track is honestly probably one of my favorites, and it's just like a little 30-second
Like
little acapella,
little
and I just love it.
little melody.
Love it. It's like spoken word, kind of like some spoken word poetry.
It's cool. I like it.
Well, I fell into prison about 2:45, where I found in my cell a glass waiting for me. So I filled what was empty, and I pulled up a stool, but he stood in the corner. The old devil wouldn't move. He said, you drink when you're lonely. No, I drink when I want. He said, you'll never be sober. Sure, why would I want that? I only drink to be merry. But unfortunately, I'm in the wrong prison cell and the wrong company.
One thing that I really like about Flogging Molly is like I'm into like old pirate shit. Oh, yes. And like they give you that real like I feel like their music would have been sung by like crews on their boats and stuff like that.
Dude,
You know what I mean?
speaking of which, this weekend, and I'm kind of bummed out, I can't go. There's too much other stuff going on this weekend. But there's the Pirate Renaissance Fair.
What?
Going on at Hesperia Lakes.
Here?
Yes.
What?
They've been doing this for years now, apparently.
What? And
A
I never heard of
Pirate
this?
Renaissance Fair.
What?
Yes.
That
so,
sounds amazing.
So I know you guys are going to hear this a little too late to go this weekend because it's releasing after it already happened in the future. Next year, keep an eye out for the Pirate Renaissance Fair at Hesperia Lakes. Typically takes place around March. But I watched a video, a promotional video for it, and it was like, if you guys want cannonball shooting, sword fights, and beer.
Hold up.
Yep.
Hold up. I love beer. I got a gang of swords.
You do. You got so many swords, and we kept finding them too. Like they just kept appearing.
Well, apparently there's more that we haven't found yet. Remember, like there's like 4 more I've heard.
I think next weekend we got
We got to dig them out.
to do.
Yes, but anyway, cannonballs.
Yes. I don't know if it's like legit.
Hesperia Lake? Like,
Yes. Yeah.
cannonballs.
I don't know if it's like legit cannonballs or.
Well, it better
like,
be because you
well,
you say cannonballs.
Calico Ghost Town, they did the Civil War reenactment, and they had the cannons.
Yeah.
I was like, what shoots cannonballs? I was trying to figure it out for the longest time right now.
A cannon?
Cannon. so they
The beer and the Jameson and the Bailey's already kicking in.
they have the cannons, and it's just they're kind of just shooting blanks, but with the cannons. So you still get the sound and the full effect, but you're not going to fuck some shit up with the full size cannonball.
Okay.
A what?
Really enjoying this, Guinness.
I love it.
I feel like my roots are coming out. That was Irish. No, that was Australian, I think. I can't do it.
It's difficult.
If you live
I was trying to
overseas in the United Kingdom area, and my accents that are going to come more and more throughout me getting drunk from
they offend you.
drinking Guinness on St. Patty's Day, if you're offended, well, fuck you.
I'm drinking Guinness.
Well, fuck you, because everyone already hates Americans, so I'm just going to fucking dig my hole and sleep in it. I'm just kidding. I love y'all.
Damn, know what we should have done today too, because it's St. Patty's Day? We should have reviewed the Boondock Saints. Have you ever seen that movie?
Yeah. That's Norman Reedus from Walking Dead.
Yes.
I think that was like one of his first
like
movies.
probably one of his first. Yeah, when they show up in the courtroom, it's like, now you will receive us. We do not ask for your poor or your hungry. It is your corrupt we claim. It's such a good movie. Such a good movie.
I liked your accent right there. That was good.
My friend did that in high school drama class.
That was nice.
We had to reenact scenes from a movie, and he did that. And he brought like airsoft guns to school. He was.
What you could get in trouble for?
No, he didn't get in trouble at
didn't?
all. He was literally on top of a table with like 2 airsoft guns, like just kind of doing reenacting the whole scene and everything. And the teacher was like, "Man, I hope the principal doesn't walk in right now."
Yeah,
I feel like right now, let's just cut that out.
Already.
Yeah, let's just cut that out.
Right.
Don't include that. Don't include that.
But no, it's got to stay because you did a killer accent and I loved it.
Now you will receive us. And then when they're fuck, I love this movie. When they're in the vents and they're going to kill that dude in like the hotel suite or whatever, and right before they go, they're at the dude's armory, like getting all these guns and everything, and the dude gets rope. He's like, "What the fuck are you gonna need rope for?"
What the fuck are you going to need a rope for?
And then they're in the vents and they like fall through, and the rope gets like all tangled, and they're hanging upside down by the rope, like twisting around, shooting everybody. And then they get done killing everybody, and then they're like, "What the fuck will I need this rope for? Did you just see what it did?" I don't remember exactly what he said. You and your fucking rope.
I haven't seen that movie forever. Now I'm gonna have to go rewatch it.
Dude, and then that's the same scene where Rocco, or I think Rocco comes in, and he's like, it was the most times fuck was said in one scene. He's like, "What the fuck? Oh my fucking fuck!" Yeah, I think it was like 30.
Is that like
times
is that
like,
like an actual thing, like the most times?
Yeah. It was like 30 something times in like a 1 minute scene or something.
Yeah, I actually have a buddy in the UK who just started listening to the podcast. Last week's was the first one he listened to.
Nice.
He said he liked how it sounded so far. If you're listening this week, Bradley, fuck you, mate. It's all the same, right? All right, let's go Flogging Molly now. Flogging Molly within a mile of home. Great album.
Flogging Molly, mate.
Flogging Molly, mate.
Yes,
Starts off great with one of the better songs on the album, "Screaming at the Wailing Wall." Just it starts off hot, really, really up tempo. just gets you in the this music gets you in the mood to party. Like I just want to drink, listen to it, and like rage. Like I want to fuck shit up.
It's cool kind of thinking about it because I remember Saint Even. Ooh, excuse me. Saint Even from what episode was that? 3? Mm-hmm. Episode 3. He told me when we were coming out with the Monkey House Yellow album, we were seriously trying to figure out like the first 3 songs. That was what we were kind of contemplating. We were going back and forth, and he was like, they always say if you don't catch somebody's ear within the first 3 songs, they're just not going to listen to your album.
No, exactly.
Yeah, and your ears are caught within the first 3 songs within the first 10 seconds of the first song. Your ears are caught. But I mean the first 3 songs in general, and I know Factory Girls track 3. You weren't too fond of the. Were you? Did you like the feature?
I don't dislike the song. I just thought like if you're usually when you get a female vocal on a song, it's like a really like nice female like melodic voice.
But I felt like
it's like it's a real like rustic sounding like raspy. Maybe that's an Irish style.
And that's what I was gonna say. Think about like the whole context of the album and just the whole vibe of the album. And I feel like it really fits. Like there's
it's not bad. I still like the song.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask you to break that one down for me because I've listened to it a few times, like more than a few times.
Right.
And I'm sitting there listening to it, and I'm like trying to think like what is this song about?
Honestly, I mean, for as many times as I've listened to it, I probably can't tell you.
Well, what do you get from it?
I mean, I think it's just about like the working nature of the Irish culture. Even going back to the Boondock Saints, there was the scene in the Boondock Saints at the very beginning where they're working in it's like a meat factory or like a fish factory or something. And I think I feel like it might just be an ode to the hardworking women of Ireland, just the hardworking citizens of Ireland in general.
What kind of threw me off is at the end, like I almost feel like he's talking about like a certain like type of woman that maybe like sucks you in and gets you like addicted to her or something. Because at the end he talks about how he's wearing like the poor bastard's crown now, and like that like the very last word for line on the song, he's like, I wish he was here to take it back now. Like almost like he took the crown from somebody,
right?
And like oh man, now I'm stuck in this loop. And you see, like I was really trying to break it down. So I was like trying to figure it out.
See, I'm real bad at finding like the deeper meaning of shit. That's what I've realized through life. But that makes...
Well, dude, I'm real bad with that. Like, I
makes
dissect everything.
It makes total sense, though. It makes total sense. Cause she was here to take it back. Yeah. Okay. No,
and like, there's parts where he's talking about how...
maybe like factories like pump out the same thing over and over again.
Maybe in Ireland it's a thing to have like... I know they have a lot of beer references and like a lot of like oh, I'm an alcoholic type of references for their music, because he's talking about like what seems to be like a label or something at one part, and it maybe like there's it's like an Irish thing to where like they have like on the beer labels like a lady on the labels. I'm not sure, but let me pull up the lyrics real quick just so I can reference what I'm talking.
Yeah, I feel like lyrics are definitely going to need to be pulled up during this episode because there's a chorus of factory girls singing in the streets, drinking their Coca-Cola. I got a really good voice over here. Psych!
I really like the part of the song though where he's talking about like drinking beer all week long and whiskey on Sunday. It kind of went country on that, but like, it kind of has like a country vibe to it. This song,
you know, it's the country that they know.
Yeah,
you know, so the crazy thing though, and I know we'll get more sort of into this topic.
Oh yeah, it says like she dances in a photograph. When it was good to joke and have a laugh. But that was yesterday, if only today. Now the walls are crawling faces that still breathe, but before she nods her head, what's left but sleep? I don't know, maybe I needed to just like go over these lyrics, guys.
And that's that's what is super cool about Flogging Molly is they have just really cool poetic lyrics. Just real, like, I don't know, like limericks. Not necessarily a limerick, but like the context of some of the limericks. Like the Irish haiku, specific syllable count.
Oh yeah, what I was referencing earlier, the whole little stanza goes, stayed Richard and his court of kings. He stole my heart and many other things. But me, I took his crown. Wish he was here to steal it back now.
Yeah, so maybe it's just a story of...
Maybe it's just like like he's referencing like the tradition of women, like you were kind of saying, like
right,
like how women are treated there and like the role they play, and he's filling now like this. Whoever Richard, like, was Richard like a king in Ireland?
Was it King Richard?
And it says stayed Richard and his court of kings. So I mean, I'm not really sure. I mean, I feel like we're kind of just lost on this.
So right off the bat, there's a lot of research we need to do. It was King Richard?
Maybe
he was king.
It doesn't specifically say it. It just says like stayed. Like
he was king of England.
Okay, well, I mean, they're essentially the UK is one in a whole.
There's a lot of history behind this stuff too, which is cool.
Yeah, well, dude, it's music that's foreign to us as well, you know. So like, really trying to sit there and break down their history and like really
the culture
understand
that they
is very interesting, but it's like hard to grasp at the same time.
And the cool thing too is, you know, we could be breaking down some of these lyrics and kind of figure out what he's saying, but he could have totally meant something completely different.
Yeah.
Which is what I love so much about lyrics. Like there's been times too with, you know, Scum and Just from the Bel Air Boys where we're recording a song or something, I'm recording a verse and I say something like, oh man, that was like, I see what you were going, you were trying to say this, and I was like, no, I wasn't, but that's cool. Like, that's crazy. I didn't even think about that.
Just the different ways people interpret it.
Yeah,
you know?
Like,
I don't know, like, I don't have really any, like, hidden, like, messages, really, in what I try to say.
Right.
But, like, I'll say some stuff, and then, like, I've talked to, like, Dylan and shit about this, and like he'll be like, oh that shit was hard, like this and this and this, and like I was like, oh, I mean, I wasn't really referencing that, but like that's what's great about it. Like it's like it's in the eye of the beholder, you know. You're listening to it, and whatever you grasp from it, even if you're really not even trying to say shit, if somebody grabs something from that and it's cool, like, oh, okay, that's
perceive it how you perceive it.
Yeah, it's all about perception.
How you interpret it.
It's all about perception. Awesome.
That's what I love so much about just music in general.
Yeah. So we kind of jumped ahead of ourselves with Factory Girls.
We did.
Number 2 on the album is Seven Deadly Sins.
Yeah.
Fucking just like the number 1, Screaming at the Wailing Walls gets you into the album, but the second that's over, like back to that like pirate vibe.
That's what I was just about to say.
Like, this is like this is like an anthem. Like if I was fucking floating on the ocean,
this is what I would want
on a wooden ship. I would be jamming this all day,
drinking pints of mead and
beer. You just want a giant turkey leg, just sitting at a table,
full on grapevine,
warm mead, and
yes. And it was crazy too. You know, we're gonna be I'm going to be talking about the show that I went to last night,
Yeah.
March 16th, Flogging Molly live at Morongo. Out of all the tracks on Within a Mile of Home, I was really looking forward to hearing a bunch of stuff from Within a Mile of Home. And they didn't. I honestly, if I was, a few pints of Guinness deep, quite a few pints of Guinness deep. And I don't think they played one single song from Within a Mile of Home except for Seven Deadly Sins, which was played during their encore.
Yeah.
Which was kind of crazy. But, I mean, getting past that, the whole show was absolutely phenomenal. But Seven Deadly Sins...
It's weird how like set lists work like that, just because I'm a huge Eli fan.
Right.
And I've gone to like multiple Eli shows, whether it's in one of his groups or just his solo stuff. And the very first time I heard Eli, he opened up with a song called Angel of Death. And it's my fucking favorite. It's my favorite song. Not even by him. It's just like my favorite song.
Right.
It's a great song, and I love it. And I've been waiting to hear that again. But as I see Eli probably once a year, just when he comes into the area where I live.
He doesn't do that song?
Well, I just like I haven't heard it. I don't know if like it's other like sets if he changes the set list or what. But I just haven't been fortunate enough to hear it again. And when the first time I ever heard him was live. And that's where I kind of like fell in love with his music, and that was the very first song, and that's what grabbed me, and I was like, fuck, dude, I want to hear Angel of Death again, and it never comes.
Yeah, and going back to week one when I dropped my top 5, Asher Roth, I mentioned, and he has a song called As I Am, where he discusses, a lot of people comparing him to Eminem, just sort of delivery-wise, vibe-wise, and all that. But that song alone, I mean, that's probably one of my favorite songs from Asher Roth. Definitely one of my favorite songs off Asleep in the Bread Aisle. But for as many times as I've seen Asher, I've never once seen him perform that. And I want to see him perform that one day.
Well, being people that don't really follow the trend, and you kind of like, you like stuff that really grabs you, and you'll listen to every single song on an album. I mean, that's kind of hard, for you when you don't get to go hear your favorite song, because your favorite song might not be like the top 3 songs on the album that just got a little
radio play and all that.
or something like that.
Well, because what sort of put Asher on the map, which is crazy, because I mean his lyrical skill is insane. He's crazy with the lyrics. But what put him on the map was I Love College, which personally that's like my least favorite song. Yeah. I mean that's what a lot of people I feel go to the shows and see, and that's what a lot of people.
Well, it's the college kid anthem though, like really, because everything he says in there is like, that's true,
It really is. But I heard it was real bad to have sex with 2 condoms. I heard that wasn't a good idea.
Probably real.
I feel like that was just a real bad idea. But other than that, everything else was pretty.
Well, I mean, back to Flogging Molly. I mean, this is natural for us guys, if you just understand that me and Ziggy, we sit here and have conversations all the time, and we always get off topic. We'll be just talking music, and then all of a sudden it'll go from music to movies, and then
to Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4.
All of a sudden we're talking Tony Hawk, and then we're going from video games to like fucking
Irish punk bands,
and then that turns into
movies.
Some shit that we saw at the supermarket. Like I don't know, dude. Like it's crazy. But we usually just kick back, have long ass like interesting conversations like this over some beers, and that's why we started Beers in the Air. We're like, let's record this and share it with the world,
and just talk about stuff that we like to talk about,
and say that we're gonna review an album, but then not review it. Anyway, back to the album review. Song number 4, To Youth.
My Sweet Roisin Dub. I feel like a lot, kind of just going through the album. I feel like the album itself could be just an ode not, you know, I mentioned Factory Girls was like an ode to just the working force of Ireland.
Yeah, well,
working,
also being called Within a Mile of Home, I know exactly where you're going with this.
Exactly.
Maybe it's just
everything
it's an homage to their homeland.
Exactly, yeah. And to you know, the way I imagine it was just, you know, a lot of people have, you know, some person that got away, maybe, and I think that might be what he would be discussing on this song, possibly.
I've listened to this song, but it didn't really grab me as much.
Right.
So I mean, I didn't really break it down too much. I know it's a decent slower song, right? I know it's definitely a slower take to the first three, you know.
Yeah. Factory Girls starts to kind of slow it down.
Yeah, but it still has like that upbeat vibe to it, but this one kind of like it settles way down.
Right, and you know, I definitely think the album in itself is sort of a roller coaster.
Yeah,
ride,
it really
for sure.
is. Like,
you know, because it kind of just
they pick you up, they slow you down, throw you back up. You know?
Which is what I like with an album. I like that with an album.
Yeah. And I mean, it stays a little slower because the very next song, "Whistles the Wind," is my favorite song on the album.
Okay.
"Whistles the Wind." I don't know. I love those really like powerful lyrical like kind of ballads where it's like I believe he's talking about like a death in this song, and it's just like anytime you go that deep, it's either got to be good or not. You know, well, of course it's good or not, but you know, like if you're gonna make a song referring to someone you've lost, usually you're pouring personal feelings and heart into it. So like Yesterday, Atmosphere. Yeah.
Just like that.
Yeah. Like, oh man.
Yeah.
That song threw me for a loop.
Dude, that honestly, I think when I first heard that song, it kind of like broke down. Dude,
I heard it not too long after my dad passed away, and like I listened to the song and I've heard it before, but for some reason I just never caught at the end that he was like
because it sounded like it was about a girl the whole time,
or just like a friend or something like it
exactly, and not even necessarily somebody who passed away, just maybe somebody who wasn't a part of his life anymore. Yeah,
and then all of a sudden he's like, I thought I saw you, but you passed away, Dad. And it was like right after my dad passed away, and I was like, oh.
My whole body filled with chills when I heard that. But
yeah, it's
so Whistles in the Wind or Whistles the Wind favorite.
Yeah, that's my favorite song. It's just like it's got a great chorus. It's like real. Like a power ballad, like it's just like they're singing on it, you know. It's not real punkish. It's really not, you know, because like the chorus is like it kills my heart to see you this way, you know, like.
And that was one of the things I really like about what they did. Sorry, I'm kind of backtracking for just a second, but with Factory Girls, they did this real cool. I was listening to it in headphones the other day, or I forgot where I was listening to it the other day, but they the Lucinda Williams, the one that's featured on it, the female vocalist, she came in and hit the chorus together with the lead vocalist, which I don't know what his name is, but I'm real bad at that. But they hit this awesome just like harmonization with it. Sings the chorus to Factory Girls, and like she was harmonizing and it was coming through each ear, and it just there's so good. There's
music is something you have to listen to through all means of sound emission. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like because with headphones, you're gonna hear all the little details like that. And like I've heard people say like, oh, that you got to listen to this guy with headphones, like he's like a headphone artist. You know what I mean? Like that sounds weird, but
real,
yeah. But it's like it's understandable too, because like sometimes when you hear like that extra stuff, you're like, oh, that adds a whole different like
it does
perspective
because,
and level
you
to
know
the song.
It's stuff that even the smallest little thing, because we were talking about this when we had OG Smiley.
Yeah,
he was saying every other snare hit would have reverb on it.
Yeah.
And you don't necessarily hear that all the time, in a car sound system.
Yeah, because I mean,
over
you got
speakers.
the bass usually
Right,
rocking pretty
exactly.
hard, so.
And hearing those little details that people put into it, because I can't tell you how many times I've gone back to stuff and just added the most minuscule little thing.
Dude, the way when I'm sitting there mixing, when I'm getting my engineer on, dude, I am constantly adding little stuff like that because that's the shit I like to hear. So I like to add my own little flavor. Just like you've heard me add at the end of the song we just worked on, like the delay to the fade out and stuff like that. Like I like having little stuff like that. Like I added a lot on people's ad libs where I'll have a delay like that where you don't really hear it too. It's not overbearing at all. But when you hear it in like some headphones or like on a quieter sound, like means of listening to the song, you'll catch it and you'll be like, oh, okay, like where'd that come from? Because like in a car, of course, like I drop heavy kicks. So like I don't use a ton of bass line in my mixing. So like when I'm producing, I'll drop heavier kicks so that I can give people I still give people that thump, but as it's so if you're listening to a car with your system, you're gonna get heavy ass kicks, heavy kicks. It's gonna be rattling your shit.
That's always the final sound check or like sound test that I do.
Yeah, because like where do you listen to music the most? The car.
In the car.
Exactly. If it sounds banging in the car,
it'll sound good everywhere else.
Yeah. You could settle everywhere else.
So, whistles, the wind. We get off track a lot.
We really do. We need to get better at this.
No, I like it though. I like it.
But yeah, well, I mean, we haven't done an album review since episode 1.
Yeah.
And
I'm definitely not as prepared for this one as I was for the first one.
What's crazy is that I feel like we gave ourselves a lot more time to get this review done. I think we're more excited about just drinking Guinness. That's where I feel like we're giving ourselves an excuse to be drinkers.
Yeah.
Drinkers.
And I think I'm still kind of just in shock, in a sense, from last night's show that it's kind of hard for me to talk about anything else, but the show.
Yeah.
But Light of a Fading Star.
That's a good song. I feel like that it's definitely a little more, it's a different vibe from Whistles in the Wind, but it still feels on that same kind of level. Yeah. Like it's not as like, this is like when you said the roller coaster. Whistles in the Wind is when we just hit the down slope.
Yeah.
I feel like Light of a Fading Star is where we're going back up. We're going back up. We're about to get crazy again. Light of a Fading Star, not a whole ton to say about it. It's a good song. It really is a good song. I like it. But the next song is what I really want to talk about. It's my next favorite song. It's in my top 3.
Ooh. On the album?
Yeah, on this
album. Top 3 of all time.
Oh, no, nah. We're always trying to drop all times, man. We're always trying to. But Tobacco Island, track 7, is just it brings you back to track 1 and 2 instantly. It goes from Whistles in the Wind, which is a real like mellow, deep ballad type song, to Light of a Fading Star, which is kind of like a slower, like kind of classic rock feeling song, straight back into fucking Irish punk with Tobacco Island. Real like double time pretty much compared to what the last song was. And he pretty much talking about like sugar cane and fucking traveling through the seas. It gives you that real like pirate vibe again.
It does, man. The sweet Barbados. Aren't the Barbados like some set of islands?
Barbados.
Barbados. terrible at pronunciation. Was 60
If he's never mind. I was gonna say he's Ziggy Braun. Yeah, I almost dropped his government responsibilities. You know, yeah. Anyway,
it's
Tobacco
good.
Island, really good song.
It does, man. That and Seven Deadly Sins, I feel really sort of just kind of bring out the whole pirate.
Yeah,
you know,
if you're gonna
sorta-
listen to any two songs from this album and really get like I want to drink to Tobacco Island. That's what I really want to say to this song. Like, I want to play this song just like Seven Deadly Sins. I want to play that. I want to chill, go out in the sun, fucking do some cool pirate shit, drink beer, wear an eye patch, put a fucking peg leg on. Like, that's what I want to do when I hear that shit. Like, really, like, because who wouldn't want to be a pirate? Like, if you're going to sit here and tell me that you wouldn't take the opportunity to be a pirate, you're a fucking liar.
When I was younger, when I was in kindergarten or first grade or whatever it was, my dream in life was to be a pirate.
Yes.
I wanted to be a pirate. That was hands down my...
Like other kids were trying to be surgeons and astronauts.
Yeah, like I'm trying to be a pirate,
Ziggy
man.
Braun wanted to be a pirate.
And I even wrote a book, The Young Authors. Remember Young Authors from elementary school?
Oh, yeah, yes.
Mine got published, and I wrote a... I'm not going to drop my government because my government was in the title, but it was like my best friend, still to this day, amazing dude. It was mine and his adventure. It was called Steven and my
And
government
Ziggy's.
name and Ziggy's Big Adventure.
We know you as Ziggy.
And,
Just say Ziggy.
I drew a pirate map. We basically came across this map while we were sailing the seven seas, and while we were sailing the seven seas in the map, I had to drop some random map for the next chapter or the next page of my own author's book, and I literally drew this map where it was a line and then a bunch of loops, just a bunch of loops back and forth, and then you hit the X, which marks the spot. And I looked back at it the other day and I was like, who would follow that map? Like, just go in a straight line. Like, why are you gonna go in all these stupid loops?
It's like cool because as a kid you think you just follow it. You do as you're told, pretty much. You know, like
Exactly, yeah.
like if the map says go and fucking keep it as loops.
Go in 70 little
and
loops.
you're thinking as a kid, you're like, these motherfuckers are gonna be going all these loops.
And then looking back at it now, I'm like, man, I could have totally just shot a straight line and hit the X
Right.
and not gone through 70 loops.
There's like some SpongeBob shit, dude.
For real.
There's something you'd see on SpongeBob.
After Tobacco Island,
After Tobacco Island.
The Wrong Company.
That's the acapella we mentioned earlier.
Yes. Very short, sweet, to the point. Just like a spoken word poem, in a sense, you know? And this song, for some reason, out of all the songs in the album, is the one. Besides Factory Girls. Factory Girls and this one are my two just kind of go-tos. But The Wrong Company, I just absolutely love the vibe he has while he's saying what he's saying.
Yeah, I was interested in hearing more to the story though. Like
I
when it ended, I was like, I was hoping for like a breakdown.
I definitely wish it would have gone a little bit longer, you know, or maybe kind of broken the story up into a few different parts.
Yeah, like throughout the album, maybe that would have been cool.
Is why one of my top 5 that we're going to discuss a little later piqued my interest so much.
Gotcha.
So, The Wrong Company, we were even talking about it the other day when you moved into the new casa.
Yeah, we're in the new headquarters for Aesthetic Intellect Records, guys. I upgraded in a sense. Not everything's moved over here, but we got enough over here to get the podcast done. That's for sure.
But so we were talking about it the other day, and we were trying to figure out, what was being said. And again, me being me, I just thought it was kind of just straight to the point. being in the wrong prison cell in the wrong company. I thought he was, he had a rough night. Maybe got locked up in the drunk tank or whatever it may have been. But the more we talked about it and the more we sort of broke it down, it's I've brought up an ode a lot so far this episode. As a whole, I feel the album is just an ode to his bringing up, his going from childhood to adulthood. Right. And, I think that Wrong Company might be an ode to... We've all been in a situation where, we want to just drink and have a good time.
Yeah.
And stuff happens.
Well, yeah, it's right. It's all about the company you bring, especially because I'm usually not a person that sits there and drinks when I'm lonely or feeling down.
I drink when you want.
I don't drink when I'm down. I kind of go off of what he was trying to say when the guy that's talking to him was basically saying oh, you drink because you're miserable and lonely.
No, I drink when I want.
And then, he rebuttals with no, I drink when I want and I drink to be happy. Mm-hmm. And then I walked into the wrong fucking bar. I'm getting out of here. Yeah. Pretty much.
Which has happened a few times. You're just...
You just get a bad vibe at a party or anything.
Right, and I'm just I'll go somewhere else.
Yeah.
I'll go somewhere where I won't have a bad time and I'll have a good time.
Exactly. I can be merry.
I'll be in the right company.
Yes. Not the wrong company.
Exactly.
But when we're talking about it as well, it's the fact that he refers to the bar as a prison cell. It's contradicting himself. Cause he's talking that's what I was saying. Is he talking to his conscience or something? Because.
It kind of came across that way.
Yeah, because he's talking about how he's got this this other character you tell that he's talking about is basically telling him you're drinking when you're lonely, you're drinking because you're miserable, you're always in here drinking pretty much. And then he's like, no, I just drink to be happy. I'm drinking to be merry and all this stuff, have a good time. But he's also referring to the bar as his prison cell, which,
could be kind of
just like a metaphor towards his addiction, which, him himself speaking to this conscious figure isn't portraying his being there as a prison cell, but I don't know, it's weird. I don't know.
And that goes back to what we talked about during Factory Girls. That goes back to what we talked about during some.
There's a lot to break down in their music. It's cool. It's because it's music you could listen to and kind of just jam and listen and drink.
But then once you really start listening to the lyrics, I had a conversation with somebody last night at the concert. We were outside of it was at Morongo Casino. We were outside. It was this big old tent. It was just a weird venue. We'll talk about that later. Yeah. But we were outside in line trying to get some Guinness. I was pretty deep last night, and we were talking. He was like, "Yeah, it's crazy. A lot of people listen to Flogging Molly while they're drinking and having a good time, but really break down the lyrics, and it's kind of crazy what." They're talking about.
They've got a lot of lyrics to where they talk about how being drunk and alcohol is a bad thing for them. It's in a very positive feeling, uppity vibe way. Even Drunken Lullabies, in the chorus of that song, it's we find ourselves in the same old mess, singing drunken lullabies. Just to me that almost feels like it's a cool uppity up-tempo positive feeling song, but
it's kind of talking about some
but really it's I'm getting drunk all the time and I just find myself singing myself into a happier time because I fucked up again or something. I don't know, it's I love breaking down stuff, you guys listen to it and interpret it in your own way, but that's kind of what we've been feeling. Yeah, that's it's a great album. We're not going to break down every single song, but we've pretty much gone over our favorites this far. So,
Right, and
there's a couple more songs on the album, but listen to it. Just play it on all the way through. It's only 15 songs, so
I think we definitely gotta throw The Wrong Company in there for him.
yeah.
Because it's
I'll definitely play that for you guys, just because we definitely spent a lot of time trying to break that one down. It's crazy like how long you could spend talking about something that's only like 30 to 40 seconds long. So like we'll definitely play that for you, and you guys, if you guys interpret something else, let us know too. Like if we're missing
leave
something.
it in the comments.
Yes, leave it in the comments.
Leave it in the comments.
But we're gonna play a quick break. We're
gonna take a quick song.
We're going to take a quick break. Drink some more fucking Guinness, as well as when we come back, we are going to talk about his experience at the Flogging Molly concert last night.
Drop my government. Ziggy's experience.
I mean, Ziggy's bleep, bleep, bleep. Do, 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 do.
Build a bridge or maybe two. Together held with footsteps she outgrew. But now she sits alone. Everyone's long gone. She dances in a photograph when it was good to joke and have a laugh. But that was yesterday. If only today. Now the walls are crawling faces that still breathe. But before she nods her head, what's left but sleep? She hears a chorus of factory girls singing in the streets, drinking their Coca-Colas after washing your filthy sheets. Chasing down the avenue after a chapter that she never knew. Choking on woodbine, cigarettes just kill time. Now the walls are crawling faces that still breathe. But before she nods her head, what's left but see? She hears a chorus of factory girls singing, ain't all out. Empty are their pockets, but their voices are filled with song. Come day, go day, wishing my heart it was Sunday. Drinking buttermilk all the week and whiskey on Sunday. Come day, go day, wishing my heart it was Sunday. Drinking buttermilk all the week and whiskey on Sunday. Now the walls are crawling faces that still breathe. But before she nods her head, what's left but sleep? She hears a chorus of factory girls singing in the streets, drinking their Coca-Colas after washing your filthy sheets. She hears a chorus of factory girls singing, ain't it all out. Empty are their pockets, but their voices are filled with song. Slade Richard and his court of kings, he stole my heart and many other things, but me I took his crown. Wish he was here to steal it now.
I'm waiting for someone to call us an idiot because one person. Before,
and I've been noticing every time I say
anything that has to do with some random person from episode 1 left a comment, and then all he said was der. And I commented back to him. I was like, yes, this guy fucking gets it. Like, if we sound stupid, let us know. But yeah, it was the first episode, and we did say a lot,
I'm still saying a lot.
We're still saying
I'll get the hang of it.
Fuck you guys.
Practice makes perfect.
Fuck you, but we love you, but still fuck you. Anyway, let's talk about this concert, dude. I just got into the band, so obviously I wasn't looking out for any concerts, but when you were telling me, because you were going to this concert, and you were telling me we should review their album for the St. Patty's Day episode, I started listening, and I became a fan, and I was like, fuck, dude, I wish I was going to this now, like...
It was definitely a fun concert. My only complaint, which you've heard me talk about before,
was the venue.
I decided, I'm not a big fan, go LA Dodgers. I love the Dodgers, but I hate actually going to LA. It just being in the city
LA's rough, dude. Any city, really, any big city, it's just hard to get in and out.
And that's the thing. It's you'll drive from point A to point B, and point A to point B is like 2 miles, and it'll take you a stupid amount of time.
Yeah, and everything's overpriced. Like, you'll stay in some rinky-dink, rundown, hole-in-the-wall hotel when you're going to like Hollywood or something, and just you'll pay as much as you'll pay for like a Vegas room. It's dumb.
It's crazy. But it was Flogging Molly down in LA on St. Patty's Day today, the day we're recording it,
right now,
the day before
Saturday. We're recording this on Saturday, obviously on St. Patty's Day. You're gonna hear this Monday, but tonight there is a concert in LA that you now wish you would have gone to instead.
No, I mean, not necessarily. Not necessarily. Because if I would have gone today, we wouldn't have been able to do this today.
But at the end of the day, like...
So here's my beef with the venue. We went down to Morongo because it was a concert at Morongo. They had it was like outside in this tent area. But they had seats. They had assigned seats, which if you go to a punk show, honestly, if I go to any show, I don't want to be in seats. I just don't like being in seats.
Part of the like nostalgia of everything is just being in the crowd and mingling and
and I haven't been in a pit in years, and I was really looking forward to being in a pit for Flogging Molly.
Yeah,
I was looking forward to it. Seats everywhere. We ended up. I still had a good time. I'm not going to deny the fact that I had a good time. It was an awesome show. It was incredible. They are true showmen. They are true showmen.
Yeah, and from the videos that you were sending me as you were there, it didn't sound very off from the recordings. So
not at all, which is what I love. I hate
going to a show and you sound like shit live.
And we've talked about this, I feel, before. If we haven't talked about it, we're going to talk about it in the future during whatever episode it is, the 25th, the 50th, the 75th, the 100th, the 1000th. I don't care.
Episode 1000,
I hate going to a hip-hop show and hearing people rap over their lyrics.
Yes.
Don't do that.
Don't do it. No, yeah, we talked about it in episode 1.
We did. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, don't do that.
They put on an incredible show, and I was talking to another person in line with my third or fourth trip to the beer area, the double fisting of the Guinness.
Not only do we use a podcast as an excuse to drink, we use concerts,
and it goes down at concerts. I was talking to another dude, and he said he's seen Flogging Molly a lot. He's seen them beyond a numerous amount of times. I don't know what your definition is of numerous, but I'd say like 4 or 5. He's seen them way more than that. And he said This is gonna get picked up on that.
Probably. Oh well.
He said, you know, he was bummed out at the fact too that it was just seats, but he reinforced the idea that regardless of if it's in seats or not, if it's in seats or not, they're gonna put on a good show.
Yeah.
They're gonna put on an incredible show, and that they did. It was amazing. And even the vocalist, he came out, I think it was after the first song they played, which I was already kind of inebriated at the time, and I forgot what the first song was. But he even mentioned, I think it might have been their first time playing Morongo, because he was like, there's the like again. He said, what's up with all these seats? Why are there all these seats around?
Whoever booked that show didn't really understand the whole, have they ever booked a show before?
They apparently they do a lot of shows there, because one of my friends who's going to the show tonight, Tyler Malone Carroll, have a good time down at that LA show tonight.
Wait, Tyler Malone?
Yes.
Oh, Tyler Malone.
Tyler Malone.
You saw him?
I still talk to him all the time.
Oh yeah. That was who you were talking to. That's going to the LA show.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw him like a few months ago. I love that dude.
Tyler Malone. Tyler Malone, you better listen to this shit, man. And
Aaron Gibson. Oh
shit.
I dropped the government for the first time. Boo, 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 boo. Tyler, have a good time at that show tonight. I know you are. You're probably down there right now pre-gaming. While we're talking about this, you're down in LA pre-gaming for that Flogging Molly show, and I'm so stoked for you.
Tyler Malone is a member of Hummus. And he got on to Hummus through initiation. And I will tell you in pure fuckery how Tyler Malone became a member of Hummus. Hummus, if you don't know, Gibbs is myself. Is my skate crew from back in the day. It's pretty much just a collective of homies now. You know, we still all talk. We're all great friends, and it's just like all my collective of friends.
Tyler's a real cool dude, man. I want to chill with him more. He lives out in Barstow right now.
Oh man, yeah, you're good. We're good.
But anyways, have a good time. But he even mentioned, because I hit him up because I knew he was a Flogging Molly fan, and I was like, hey, you trying to go see Flogging Molly? And he was the one that told me. He said he's heard stories about the Morongo venue, and he said one of the reasons he didn't go was because of the seating arrangement. And they're real strict there. Like there were two dudes in front of us who were just kind of pushing each other around, just having a good time. I think it was father and son, actually, which was real cool.
Just having like a two-man personal mosh pit to punk music, like.
And 5 cops showed up as soon as they started doing it. Were shining the flashlight, and I mean, I respect the police 100%, but it's like we're just having a good time, man. Nothing crazy is going on. We're just kicking it.
Yeah,
well,
and it probably has a lot to do with like
it's maybe something that happened in the past.
Well, also
at the venue,
Vegas just recently with craziness.
Exactly,
like that,
exactly.
Like everyone's taking extra precautions,
which is good. Which is I.
Yeah, but at the same time, you're there to let loose and have a good time and escape from reality for a minute. Like
exactly.
If you're pushing each other to a fucking punk song, like dude, that's the life of it. Mm-hmm. Like I couldn't imagine going to a rock show or any like punk, even if it's just not even punk, just anything. Like I couldn't imagine going to like a Metallica show.
And not being
able to get into it and like push your buddy around and be hyped about it, like can you imagine like just listening to some fucking sick ass Metallica breakdowns and having to sit there just all stiff and like
but we were still dancing around, and I mean I was nodding my head like crazy. That's why my neck is a little stiff today, But I mean overall the show was phenomenal. The
performance was great. Venue could have been better, essentially.
And that's why I know, Tyler, you're gonna have a good time tonight. You're gonna have a phenomenal time. And he's been to Flogging Molly shows before, and he even said he said I can't imagine going to a Flogging Molly show and not being able to dance around
Yeah.
and just have a good time. But we ended up getting out of our seats and going to the standing area and just dancing around over there with a bunch of people, and it was fun. It was a really, really fun show. And you know, the dude I was talking to in line while I was getting some beers, I'm glad I talked to him. I mean, he had years on me of going to shows, and he said regardless of the fact that it's seating, you're going to have a good time tonight.
Yeah, just great performers.
Super cool. And everyone was just so friendly with one another. Like nothing crazy happened. Everyone was just drunk, just dancing and vibing and singing.
That's one of the things that that Smiley was saying when we were going over his punk days, that, you know, he was really drawn into the punk scene, was the fact that everybody was, you know, shit gets fucked up and crazy, but everybody's like there
still chilling,
vibing on a good level. Like,
exactly.
You know, shit might get fucked up because it's getting like crazy and, you know, having a good time, but it wasn't like fucked up to the point where it was just a bad influence or
not a single crazy thing happened, and it was just all around good vibes and just good people and good music and good drinks. And go see Flogging Molly. Everybody who's listening to this, go see Flogging Molly at some point in your lifetime, and I guarantee you, if you're not even a punk fan, if you're not whatever, you're gonna have a good time. If you've never heard them before and you go to the show, you're gonna have a phenomenal time, regardless of if it's at
whether you even know one of the songs or
exactly.
Because I mean, I didn't know shit about them, and the second I started listening to them on my way to work, I was like, yeah, dude, like this is the shit. I could vibe to this.
Right, just good storytelling, good music. I mean, their incorporation of instruments, the way they piece all the instruments together, because that's, I mean, it takes talent to do that. And I just can't even stress to you guys how much I loved that show.
Up to hell we must sail for the shores sweet Barbados, where the sugar cane grows taller than the God we once believed in. The butcher and his crowd raped the land we used to sleep in. Now to more chimes of ghostly crimes that haunt Tobacco Island. Forgotten now for sure. Big dragons from their homeland, the musket and their gun, Cromwell and his round heads battered all we knew. Shackled hopes of freedom were nailed with stolen goods. Darkens the horizon, blackened from the sun. This rotten cage of Bridgetown is where I now belong. Out to hell we must sail for the shore sweet Barbados, where the sugar cane goes taller than the God we once believed in. The butcher and his crown raped the land we used to sleep in. Now tomorrow chimes of ghostly crimes that haunt Tobacco Island. Red leg, down peg, Western burns the soul. The flogging's there aplenty, but reasons there are none. Our backs belong to landlords, but branded is their name. Paid for with 10 shillings, cheap labour never breaks. The silver moon is shining, cools the copper blood, where the living meet the dead, and together dance as one. To hell we must sail for the shore sweet Barbados, where the sugar cane goes taller than the God we once believed in. The butcher and his crown raped the land we used to sleep in. Now tomorrow chimes and ghostly cries will haunt Tobacco Island. Agony, will you cleanse this misery? For it's never again I'll breathe the air of home. From the sandy edge, the rolling sea breaks my revenge. With each whisper, 1,000 waves I hear all I'm coming home.
island.
Good way to segue into pure fuckery and the end of this episode is talking about how makeshift we had to make this episode because we were supposed to have a guest.
We were
supposed to have a guest, and I'm going straight into pure fuckery because this is a pure fuckery that happened. The reason that I don't have a guest today. So last night, Buddy Yak, we've referenced Yak on this show a few times, and we've talked about how
looking forward to having
we wanted. Oh man, it would.
I was gonna bring my Power Ranger action figures over too.
It would have been an episode that I feel like he could have carried, and we kind of came in here makeshift to where we solely had to make the album review carry the show instead of having our guest, and I blame you, Yak. Because this pure fuckery is for you.
Yackers, man, I'll still beat you at Mario Kart 64.
I heard he sold it because of you. Anyway, Yak. We had a buddy that lives up in Washington that we don't get to see very often come over last night, have a couple beers. And I work on Saturday, so I usually try to go to bed by about midnight. But my buddies weren't done partying. And they partied hard. Apparently, when I went to bed, they got a little bit of woohoo, woohoo, some little, some party favors in my brand new house while me and my wife were sleeping, carrying on like a 4-man party out in my garage all night long. I wake up for work at 6 a.m. I come into my garage, and they are still here doing the exact same thing we were doing before I went to bed, except high as a fucking kite. And apparently, our guest for the show, Yak, got a little too inebriated from his Katy Perry. Didn't feel very comfortable, felt like death was upon him, verbatim is what he told me, and just decided to drive home off of zero sleep, hadn't slept for like 30 plus hours, just decides, I need to fucking go home because I'm tripping balls, I love you, Yak. I love you, but you were supposed to be here.
You're supposed
on
to be
Beers
here.
in the Air, episode 7, and you are a frequent listener. You listen to every episode every week, and you're gonna hear this. You're going to hear this.
You're going to hear this episode. You're going to hear episode 7.
I watched the man do a line off of a samurai sword. Pure fuckery.
Yes.
Pure fuckery.
Yes. I don't know.
You got anything for pure
I
fuckery?
don't know if I have any for this week, man.
Well, you think about one, and I'm going to go in the one that I mentioned earlier.
All right, do it.
We're bringing back Tyler Malone. Tyler Malone, my man. I haven't seen you in ages.
TM.
I would love to see you because you're a cool dude, funny dude, guy that was the epitome of my crew, Hummus. And we were just a bunch of dudes, skater dudes, that didn't give a fuck about anybody or saying anything to anybody. And we just did what the fuck we wanted. We fucked shit up. We were a fucking skate crew. We were a fucking Hummus, dog. That's what we did. Tyler Malone. Initiated into Hummus. Crazy motherfucker. Had like 5 fucking dudes spit into a cup. He took a shot of human spit as an initiation to get on Hummus. Did it, swallowed it over Hummus. Pure fuckery. He was on. Like you are forever a member. You are forever in our hearts, Tyler Malone. We will never forget you because you're a bad motherfucker. That doesn't even. People
That doesn't
change.
do justice.
People change and people get older. I don't even know if you're the same guy anymore. But the Tyler Malone I remember and loved was the epitome of what our crew Hummus was.
He's
A badass motherfucker.
He's just a dude who understands true friendship. He's just an all-around amazing guy.
He's a cool dude.
All-around amazing guy.
Tyler Malone, let's get you on Beers in the Air. Add me on tag him. If you've got his handle on anything, tag him. And give him my Instagram handle so he can add me and I can catch up with that guy. I would love to catch up and get that guy on.
We got to get him
Interesting
on,
dude.
so we could talk about Flogging Molly live.
Yeah,
I think that's definitely something we need to do.
Yeah, I'm sure he's gone to a lot of other things. Like we can have him on and just talk his experiences with music and see what his top 5 is.
Yeah, I know.
I don't even know what to expect.
I'm excited. I am personally looking forward to it.
So any pure fuckery for you?
Oh, just thought of one. So, when I was up in my college town living, some friends from the desert came. Mm-hmm. One of them being one of the half of Bel Air boys who we had on week 2 of Beers in the Air. And we were drinking. We were going downtown, drinking, just having beers, just getting all sorts of weird up in Santa Cruz, right?
All kinds of weird.
Drop the government city name. But so we're recording because Scum Dizzle wants to record a song, and he recorded Montequia's Revenge from the Yellow album. I think it was like track 3, track 4, whatever it was. And my roommate, he was chilling on the couch, just having a good time, just listening to us record, just doing his thing. And I miss this guy, Chris, wherever you're at. I miss you, man. Let's get together sometime. But we're recording. Scum Dizzle's pretty inebriated. And at one point, he falls over.
Oh, I know this story.
And he falls over right onto my roommate's laptop.
Oh.
And just completely destroys.
Not just a laptop. What kind of laptop?
I mean, it was a pretty nice one.
It was a Mac, wasn't it?
No.
Okay.
It wasn't a Mac. It was
dude, that's devastating though. Either
just a laptop in general. And I still feel bad about this. I still want to send Chris some money or something. I just don't know.
Hold on, this motherfucker. He wants to record this song. I'm sure. Like he was probably like all about it. Hey, let's record.
So,
let's
so
record.
we're in my room recording, laying down the track, pretty inebriated. We're laying it down. Everything's going smooth. It's coming out amazing. It's coming out real good. And he falls over. Falls right onto the laptop and just breaks it. And the laptop was chilling on top of his clothes bin that he
probably could have had a better area for it.
Yeah, but still, just completely destroyed.
So did it just snap the screen off of the keyboard part?
It didn't. It basically fell. He fell on it, and the screen fell all the way back, and just completely destroyed the screen and just the computer as a whole. And R.I.P. laptop. R.I.P. laptop, man. R.I.P. laptop.
Pure fuckery.
I still love you, Scum Dizzle. Always and forever.
That's part of the reason we love you. It's also the majority of the reason we hate you.
always love. Always love.
Oh, man. Beers in the air, man. Bunch of Guinness.
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about this Guinness.
So the 200th anniversary export stout. We didn't bust out the extra stout.
We had plenty of beer out here, and
we had a lot of beer out here, and it sort of reminds me of the extra stout. And I know once you crack open one of the extra stouts, whenever it may be, it will remind you of the 200th anniversary. But I mean, hands down, my favorite Guinness Draft. This is the beer that got me into beer. This was the very first beer that I personally drank back when widgets were in the bottles, back when widgets were in the cans. And the first Guinness I had, I fell in love with it. I absolutely 100% loved it. And I've been drinking it ever since. I've never had a bad experience with it. It's amazing when you pour it into a cup too. Because what you have to do when you pour a pint, and you'll see this if you get it at a restaurant, if you get it at a bar, whatever it is. If you see the bartender pour your Guinness, especially if it's off tap, they'll pour half of it, let it sit for a little. They'll tilt the cup like they normally do when they pour beer, fill it up halfway, set it down. Once they set it down, they let it settle for a little bit. Once it settles, they finish pouring the rest of it. They let it settle a little more, and then they serve it to you. Because when you serve Guinness, you'll notice that it looks like this cloud. It's like a cloud that's just kind of circling back and forth and sort of just doing its own thing and forming its own formation, I guess you can say. And once it fully settles, and you'll see, because all the foam will get thicker at the top. You'll see the foam get thicker and thicker, and finally it'll just settle, and then that's when they give it to you. And sometimes you'll go to a bar, you'll go to a pub, whatever it is, and they'll throw like a 4-leaf clover on it, 3-leaf clover, whatever it is, just up at the top on the foam. And just, I mean, Guinness in general, I'm not a big fan of some of the other stuff that they've come out with. I mean, the IPA, the Nitro IPA is phenomenal. They're big on releasing the Nitro. I'm not entirely 100% sure what it does necessarily, but I think it just kind of like throws out all the flavors of the beer, I guess, in a sense. But Guinness Draft, or Drought, like we mentioned, I think it's draft, but it's spelt a little different. But it's amazing. I hope one day I could personally go to the brewery out in Ireland. That would be a dream of mine, out in Dublin. I want to get the harp tattooed on me. That's how much I love Guinness.
The man is a Guinness fan. I'm fairly new to Guinness. I know the 200th anniversary was a kicker. It was definitely a heavier beer.
It was a higher percentage too.
Yeah, and
than the draft.
It was a little much for me. I mean, I don't mind. I didn't mind it, but as well as just the Guinness, the the regular Guinness was great. I loved drinking it. Drank a couple of them. I'm curious to try the extra stout because I got a taste of the 6%. I got a taste of the regular Guinness draft, but I've got this extra stout that's in my fridge. I believe it's a little more potent than even the 200th anniversary, and I'm gonna try that too. The Car Bomb, delicious. That was good. The Car Bomb was amazing. We didn't have the shot. It curdled up a little bit, and that got in the way of me drinking it. It was almost like trying to drink a root beer float, and all the foam from the ice cream and the root beer that builds up at the top. If you're trying to drink that, just getting in the way of drinking it, and it just kind of made it hard. But it tasted good. Like, it didn't taste like beer anymore. It definitely didn't taste like Jameson. It didn't exactly taste like Bailey's, but it tasted almost like this brand new drink that was kind of like sweet, had this like kick to it, and it was chuggable. And I can see that being a very dangerous thing. And I know Ziggy, that you've said that it's a very dangerous drink to go ahead and try to drink all night with. But so far, I've become a fan of Guinness. I'm curious to taste a couple more of the beers that me and you, Ziggy, have talked about, like the
Nitro IPA is...
Yeah, you were saying the Nitro was a good kind of mellow
really good.
IPA. It sounds like an intense one, but
It's not, a lot of times when people hear IPA, they imagine some pretty... I mean, it's got that bold flavor that you get with IPAs.
I think real potent beers.
Exactly, but percentage-wise, it's not something that's going to just completely kind of cancel out your night. Like with the Watermelon Dorado, which we're definitely going to have
I've
on an
had
episode
it, and
one time.
fuck, that's a hitter.
It's a
Isn't it like 12%?
It's 10%.
Oh, still like.
But
Jesus.
it's crazy because one of my biggest pet peeves is when I have a beer that's a fruity beer and the fruit just overpowers everything.
No, there's a hint of watermelon, but it still has a powerful IPA flavor.
Exactly, and it's not watermelon that's going to put you off.
Yeah, it's not like a Jolly Rancher or something.
Exactly.
It's like
it's just
enough.
a slight little flavor. And we talked a lot about Ballast Point last week, and Ballast Point is definitely one of my favorites. But Guinness in general is going to go down. If we had to do a top 5 beers of all time, which I think we got to do sometime in the future, it's going to happen. It's going to happen.
And then we can really get over because it's a little less controversial. I feel like people will be a little more willing to express their opinion on some beers than artists, just because that can get crazy. I know me and Dylan Drugs, aka Scumdog, we've called him multiple things on here, but one half of the Bel Air Boys that we had on episode 2, we go back and forth. I talked to him about this. We're going to have him solo back on the show, and it's pretty much just going to be a war between me and him. We already discussed it. It's just going to be how we discuss music, his views, my views, and we clash, and you're just going to have to sit back and eat some popcorn. You could chime in too, but me and this guy,
I'm down.
We go to war when it comes to talking music.
I'm down to listen to that.
But Guinness, there's also a blonde ale. Pretty much your typical American style lager.
I'm not a big fan of it. Not a big fan of it.
Is it just too generic, or
I
would like to taste their take at our American.
And it's interesting,
beers.
Exactly. And I mean, knowing what Guinness has to offer, it's kind of interesting trying it. And it's cool
seeing them not have a beer that like stains your pants or something.
Exactly. Like I was just spitting earlier because I felt like the urge to spit, and like all my spit was just like dark brown.
Yeah.
And that's what Guinness stouts do. That's what they do.
Yeah, Guinness, it's a lot more mainstream than a lot of the beers we've brought on here. So Guinness, you know where to find it. It's most likely at Guinness or at Guinness Brewing.
Yeah,
somewhere.
I think
hashtag it. It'll be hashtagged.
I'm pretty sure I tagged them in. I did tag them
In
the most recent one, yeah. And I tagged Flogging Molly too. At Guinness, I even tagged at Guinness World Records. Just because
just
it felt like the right thing to do.
Are they related at all, or
I don't even know.
Probably not. Anyway,
most likely not.
That's funny that you did that.
Most likely not.
But yeah, you know where to find them at Guinness, pretty much on most likely anything. What's Flogging Molly's?
Just at Flogging Molly Band.
At Flogging Molly Band, look them up. They're dope. Listen to Within a Mile of Home. Listen to Drunken Wallabies. Listen to Float. Listen to everything, man. Like, if you feel like there's a better album out there that we could have reviewed, let us know. And maybe we'll revisit that if someone really feels strongly enough about it. You know where to find me. At Gibbs Audio on Instagram. That's pretty much all I fuck with. I'd love to chop it up with anyone that listens to the show. Add me. Let me know what you'd like to hear on the show, and we'll make a great effort. And finally, we've been talking about it for weeks, saying that, I need to make a Ziggy Braun page. Guess who made one?
Ziggy Braun made one. And guess where you could find me at?
At Ziggy
Instagram,
Braun.
at Ziggy Braun. That's ZIGGYBRAUN.
Ziggy.
You guys don't even know about that. I don't even know if Gibbs over here knows about that. Long time ago, I came across, I wanted to drop a mixtape, and Mac Miller, a lot of people, I mean, he's a dope MC. He's a really good MC. Listen to his most recent album, phenomenal. But he came out with this mixtape a while ago, and he had the song called Diablo, and I loved the instrumental. I was like, I got to rap over this. Me and Jimmy the Funksta, which we'll have on an episode in the near future.
Hopefully, he doesn't come up much, but
not too often.
We got to get him here.
We got to get him on. But me and him got on it. This is some unreleased stuff nobody's ever heard, but we rapped over Diablo by Mac Miller. I forgot who the producer was, but that was the chorus. For me, it's the ZIGGYBRAUN, and then he came in and he was like, it's the JIMMY the TH a Funksta. It's the JIMMY the TH a Funksta.
Yeah, that already
it was
sounds funky. I like
hard.
it. Release it.
Unreleased.
Release
Yeah.
it. It needs to be. No, nothing needs.
Gotta wait for the right time.
It'll come.
Oh, number 7.
Number 7.
Number 7. Mind of Zevon. He's coming in the near future as well. I heard he was coming down to Southern California in May. So that might happen in May. So if May comes around, May's coming around, but when May comes around, keep an eye out. Hopefully we'll have the Mind of Zevon.
That's an episode you'll want to hear because
it's going to be a good one.
He's got a great mind for the art of hip hop. Well, anyway, guys, this has been episode 7 of Beers in the Air, the Flogging Molly album review, the redemption of Top 5, and always the entertaining peer fuckery. Thanks for sticking around on our last-minute makeshift episode.
Man, it was makeshift, but we made it happen. We made it happen.
Go to @Aesthetic Intellect Records on Instagram. Follow us. That's where you'll
YouTube too, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
on YouTube. On YouTube is where the podcast drops, but the teasers and what you can look forward to as far as new music and albums from all the artists, as well as the sneak peeks for the podcast. That's where you're going to get it, is on our Instagram.
IG.
@Aesthetic Intellect Records. follow us. We'll chop it up with you there too. Drop your comments in there. Let us know your top 5. Drop your ideas, what you'd like to hear on the show, and we'll try to make it happen. This has been episode 7. Catch us next Monday for episode 8.
Can't wait. Cannot wait.
Cannot wait. Boop, 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 ba-doop, ba-doop, boop, 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 ba-doop, ba-doop, bum, 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 ba-dum, 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 bum, 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 ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum.
Hey.
Pure fuckery.
Whistles the wind, blowing my way, sweeping me back here to stay. Can winners be losers, running on the same track? Well, some head for glory, others we crash. Well, it breaks my heart to see you this way. The beauty in life, where's it gone? And somebody told me you were doing okay. Somehow I guess they went wrong. My isolation, there's a sobering thought. A minute alone, a lifetime too long. See the face in this mirror, so pale it could crack. Desperately wanting the color in a lax. Well, it breaks my heart to see you this way. The beauty in life, where's it gone? And somebody told me you were doing okay. Somehow I guess they were wrong. So you drank with the lost souls for too many years, tied to their ankles, now crippled with fear. There's an ocean between where I am and where I want to be. So you prayers in doubt, doubt not for me.